Hey guys, Angus here. Got another Airsoft gun review for you guys today. Today we've got the video review of the JG G3 SAS Airsoft AEG. If you're interested in purchasing this gun after you watch this review, there'll be a link down below in the description to airsoftstation.com where you can buy this product for about $135. With that being said, let's hop into this review. Let's start off this review by going over the gun's packaging. As you can see, this is the box that your G3 will come in. As you can see, it's fairly flashy, does have a large picture of the gun, supports the gun's name, a couple bits of statistics regarding the gun, but overall it's just a cardboard box. When you remove the box top, this is what you should see. Everything's packaged very well inside some thick white styrofoam and held in place by white styrofoam spacers. Inside the box, you'll have two pieces of paperwork consisting of a bright pink sheet that basically just covers a couple warnings, and of course, your gun manual. This manual is your typical JG manual, does tell you a few important things, and also features a nice parts breakdown in the back. Then you'll have a metal scope mount, a small plastic bag containing an Allen key to install the scope mount, as well as a butterfly winding key, a small bag of very low quality 0.2 gram BBs, an 8.4 volt 1100 milliamp small type battery, a small type trickle charger, a fairly short dejamming rod, and of course, the G3 and its 500 round high capacity magazine itself. Now hopping directly into the review of the actual gun here, let's go ahead and cover this gun's external and internal quality. Now externally, this gun is more so composed of a plastic component than it is metal. There are a few metal pieces on this weapon, and those include your iron sights, both front and rear, the front RAS rail, the 500 round included magazine, the fire selector switch, the magazine release, the trigger, all the screws that hold the gun together, and the weapon's charging handle, as well as the gun's outer barrel. Everything else on the weapon is composed of a rather solid polymer or plastic component. Not quite sure if it's a polymer, but it certainly isn't a cheapy plastic. It's a fairly solid feeling gun. Now, being that said that everything else on the gun is made of plastic, that means of course your upper and lower receiver are plastic, which some people might not like. Me personally, I'm kind of 50-50 on the subject. Sure, the gun isn't as solid as if it were made entirely of metal, however at the same time, being made of plastic, this gun's a bit lighter, and hey, it's not going to rust like some other metal guns might. Overall though, the external quality of the weapon is rather solid, everything's built and placed on rather well. I really don't think this is anything cheap that's going to crack the second, say, you fall down in a game. It's built very, very well. That orange tip on the end of the gun is simply a small plastic piece glued on. Underneath that are standard 14mm counterclockwise threads, in case you are wondering. Now, internals wise, I've dealt with a lot of JG guns over the years. This gun is not so different than any of the other JGs out there. It of course is a metal gearbox with metal gears, and overall the JG internals are decent. They're good budget guns for economical airsofters, and hey, if you don't like the way it performs right out of the box, you can go ahead, upgrade this gun, make it really nice. That's what's great about JGs. They're fully upgradable, make them into really nice guns. But overall, externals, very solid with quite a few metal pieces, overall plastic though, and internals, pretty darn good, easy to upgrade. Externally, the gun lacks any real trademarks. However, on the left side of the gun's magazine well, there is a nice brightly painted serial number. Alright, now hopping directly into features of this gun here, let's go ahead and cover an extremely important one on any AEG, and that's battery space. As you can see, the G3 SAS does have a full stock, and good news, that full stock is indeed used to house the battery. In order to access the G3's battery compartment, you want to push and pop off the gun's rubber butt plate. As you can see, the butt plate is serrated, made of rubber. It's rather comfortable when gripping onto your shoulder. In order to access the battery compartment, simply push down like so. As you can see, inside, you'll reveal your small type connector, which is indeed what this gun makes use of. The gun does include that 8.4 volt small type battery shown earlier, and that fits in rather snugly. Inside the battery compartment, there are foam inserts glued onto the sides of the stock to make the battery not rattle. You can remove those. In fact, I would recommend it. That way, you can house a bigger battery, but hey, it might rattle a little bit. Who cares? I'd rather hold the bigger battery. When you have the battery installed, simply tuck the wires in like so, and slide the butt plate back into place. Now when you've got the battery installed inside this gun's full stock, plugged in and ready to go, obviously you're going to want to shoot your G3 SAS. How do you change between your fire modes? Well, you've got your fire selector switch obviously to do that. The selector switch is rather nice, crisp and easy to move, and Features the standard 3 settings. When you have the selector switch pointed down towards the ground and on the white crossed off bullet, the gun is on safe. The trigger cannot be pulled. If you were to flip it up 1 so that it's on the single bullet, the weapon is on semi-auto. If you were to flip it up all the way to the many bullets, the weapon is now on full auto. This selector switch is located only on the left side of the gun, so it's not ambidextrous, but hey, not too big of a deal. Overall, again, it is a rather nice selector switch. It's crisp, fairly easy to move. You do have to apply a little bit more force when changing it from semi to full auto, but otherwise, hey, it's not slipping in between settings. It's overall a nice selector switch with the standard settings. Another big and obvious feature of this gun would, of course, be its magazine. Now, the gun includes a standard 500-round high-capacity metal G3 style magazine. This mag works essentially like any other high cap. You'd fill it up via the reservoir at the top. One thing to report here is that this lid to the reservoir isn't exactly the most secure thing in the world unless you push it down securely. Many a time I've ejected the mag on this gun to find this wasn't secured tightly and all my BBs will fly out, so make sure you press that down. Once you've wound the mag via the gear at the bottom, the BBs will feed through the top. One thing I noticed with this mag, not necessarily a feeding issue, it's just I had to wind it constantly when it was in the gun if I really wanted to hold down the trigger on full auto, get a couple good bursts going. Luckily in the packaging they do give you that butterfly key so you can insert it into this small slit and make winding a lot easier. When you go to insert the mag, the actual feeding port faces towards the rear of the gun. So place it in like so, and hear that click letting you know it's locked in. If you were to want to eject the mag, you simply push in the large release like so. Looking down the gun's iron sights, you can see they're actually not that bad. Your rear sight is adjustable, which is your typical style of drum sight. How this works is you can turn it either clockwise or counterclockwise and adjust the size of the slit you're looking through to line up with your front sight, which I call it the target sight. Is simply a circle with a sight post in the middle of it. It is not adjustable. Overall, these iron sights are decent, but hey, you do get that scope mount in the package, which is rather easy to install on the gun, so you can use an optic. It's your choice though. The scope mounts are removable. You can choose these iron sights or an optic on the gun. As pointed out earlier, the G3 SAS does have a small RAS rail located underneath of its handguard. This rail is constructed of metal and is a little bit too short to house a grenade launcher. However, there are definitely a lot of other practical accessories for this gun. My personal recommendation, a nice foregrip, but hey, a small flashlight or tactical laser would fit on there as well. The sides of the handguard can be made to attach rails to, however, out of the box this gun does only come with that bottom rail. It's nice to have a little bit of customization on your gun though. Say you want to act as your hop-up unit. In order to do that, pull back the charging handle, lock it up like so, and the dust cover will open, revealing your hop-up unit. This hop-up unit's a rather large gear, very easy to turn. It's a little bit stiff though until you break it in. Overall, the hop-up unit's decent. I didn't see an amazing amount of range being generated from this hop-up unit, but overall, hey, it's not too bad. When you finish adjusting your hop-up unit, you can release the charging handle. You'd think it'd make a pretty cool clack, but overall, the sound's pretty dull. Alright, so we've gone ahead and covered pretty much everything regarding the JG G3 SAS, so let's go ahead and hop into the final conclusion of this review before the skies overhead of us open up with a nice downpour. Now overall, it's been a while since I've handled a G3. I grew up playing with one, so it's rather nice to get my hands on one of these again, and I have to say I still like them. They're a unique gun. If you're looking for something unique, the G3 is always a good option because it's not something so far out there, but it's something you don't see very often anymore. Overall, my personal recommendation for this gun would be CQB. It's got a nice CQB legal FPS, a pretty decent rate of fire. It's also rather short, easily maneuverable, would be excellent for a CQB style game. Frankly, I'd probably prefer this over that King Arms P90 I reviewed a couple days back. Features-wise, this gun is built rather solidly. Yes, it is composed primarily of plastic, but hey, as I stated earlier, does make the gun a little bit lighter, a little bit more maneuverable, even better for CQB. Battery space on this gun's excellent. You get a nice full stock to house a larger battery, provided you remove those foam inserts. Battery space is very easy to access. Simply push down the butt plate. You can easily change it in the field. Magazine-wise, the magazine, you got to keep winding it. I find that a little bit annoying. Another con of these G3 mags is, as you can see, they're rather large. You're going to have to buy some larger mag pouches for them. M14 mag pouches will work perfect for these. But overall, it's a solid mag. And hey, besides the winding, it's a decent mag feeding-wise. I wish the charging handle was a little bit louder with its clack. I kind of find it dull and boring. Usually you find them kind of cool, but this one, not too exciting. The hop-up unit on the gun is decent, as are the iron sights, and they do give you that nice scope mount in the package, so you can go ahead, attach that, slap an optic on this thing. Overall, the JG G3 SAS is a fairly solid gun, definitely a nice CQB buy if you're looking for an unusual gun to sport in the field. This has been Deathcore Airsoft's review of the gun, and overall, I have to give it a thumbs up. I'd probably rate it a 7 or 8 out of 10 regarding its quality and performance. So thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe.